we flipped the conversation from, oh, that book is so tropey with people. I think it has to do with shifting attitudes towards genre fiction like romance or mystery, where instead of, criticizing a book for playing with tropes and calling it tropey, we instead are using it as a way to talk about our books and saying, hey, if you love books that, employ dark family secrets or one bed, that's what this book has. We're going to deliver that for you, the reader. You'll be interested. I like that flip of the script. Like many of us, speaking of tropes, I am always fascinated by rich people behaving badly. And so that is a big trope that is played with in this story. And then, also just the peek inside that destination thrillers. This book is set on, in this beautiful luxe Italian palazzo on Lake Como. The so this peek inside a life that most of us do not live, or are rarely able to take part in, and destination thrillers can bring us there. So speaking to the trope part of the question, I think those are two that I had a lot of fun exploring here. In terms of the book's broader concept, yes. So it's a group of college friends. Claire Monroe is an heiress. Her father is a venture capitalist in Hollywood. Her mother is from old money New England stock, and she has a younger sister, Emma, and an older brother, Tanner, and they are the Monroe family, the fabulous Monroe family. Um, Claire, her junior year of college, transfers to a small liberal arts college in New England, and she meets her core group of ride or die best friends, and those become our main characters for the novel. They are David and Harper and Serena and Luca. And at the novel's opening, Claire is dead. She died in what her friends don't know if it was a tragic accident or suicide, one or the other. She died 5 winters ago at this fabulous family vacation home on Lake Como. They were all there that evening celebrating New Year's Eve with the Monroe family. They all betrayed Claire in some way leading up to her death, and they all feel responsible for what happened. They all feel guilty. And so when they receive this memorial invitation that her family has put together, inviting them to attend a celebration of Claire's life, they feel both terrified that the ways in which they betrayed Claire and the secrets that they have been keeping about that night are going to come out. And they feel responsible for being there because they have betrayed Claire horribly and they owe it to her to go to the celebration. So, against probably all of their better judgment when it comes to self-preservation, they all take the trip to Italy. Um, so the story follows the four friends through that week-long celebration of Claire's life. And we also get glimpses back to the night when Claire died through Claire's point of view. So we do get, even though she's not in the present of the story, even though she is dead, we get her point of view, from 5 winters earlier. And as the novel progresses, without giving too much away, there is a revenge game afoot. The friends find that they are being targeted, and the story becomes as much about protecting their secrets as it does about protecting their own lives. Oh, it's so
Very
much fun to write. It's nothing any of us would ever want to live. But yes, there's a progression through the story where first on the first night in the palazzo at this memorial celebration, three of the four characters receive little gifts in their room. That there's some ambiguity at the beginning. Is it a gift or is it a taunt? It becomes clear pretty early on that it's not just a nice welcome gift. And there's also some mystery surrounding why Harper doesn't receive a gift. And the gifts progress into threatening notes. And then there's another series of notes, and the notes become demands. And so it does build up this fear that they are being potentially blackmailed surrounding Claire's death, and someone knows all the details of what happened that night, not just with Claire, but also everything that these characters are keeping secret. So yeah, fun to write, wouldn't want to live it. Writing ensemble dialogue is one of the trickiest mechanical challenges for a book like this. When you have a scene where you have four or more characters verbally interacting, you have to use a lot of dialogue tags and actions to not confuse the reader, but it does become a bit of a challenge not having Luca raising his glass 5 times in a row to signal that he's speaking, etc. Um, but that's a slightly, I think you were somewhat asking that, but also asking about crafting voice for the characters. And that's a much more chewy challenge as an author. I love writing from these five different points of view. I do I do work on crafting distinct voices for the characters. They're written, Claire is in first person, all of the other, and that's somewhat to distinguish her narrative, which is in the past, from the other characters. They are all written in third person. So it is slightly different from creating a first person narrative, but I still pay attention to voice. I'm not writing a distant third where we're just looking down on them. It is close on the characters. I think that for this particular project, Harper's voice is the closest to my authorial voice. She was the character that, to me, is the sort of she's the character I relate the most closely to, and I think that because of that, she will be the character that many readers will relate the most with, even if the reader is themselves more like one of the other characters. I think we see this world through Harper's eyes the most closely. And so she was sort of my touchstone. Um, to begin the first chapters from her point of view. She was sort of my jumping off point. Um, the other three characters, David is a filmmaker, Serena is an actress, Luca is sort of a ne'er-do-well. And they all have more distinct character voices, whereas Harper feels more like a touchstone voice for me. Claire, the heiress, of course, she's in first person. She's very dramatic and really leans into the passion and drama of it all.